Slugfesters. What's it? The slugfesting. Oof. Ode Osbourne versus Steve Erceg. This one is kind of a tricky one because when everyone was high on Steve Erceg, I was the guy saying, I'm not too sold on the guy. You know, when everyone was like, yeah, Pentoja lost to Steve Erceg. I was one of the people who were like, really, dude? So I'm not particularly sure how Steve Erceg honestly does in this particular fight. I am not gonna lie to you, especially because even though I do feel like Ode Osbourne is not particularly elite, but you know what? I'm not that sold on Steve Erceg as well, to be honest. Right? Obviously, he's had higher level experience. That's going to give him a massive advantage, which is one of the main reasons why I picked Tatsuro Taira the last card. It was because even though I did feel like Hyun Park would do a lot better, but I did feel like obviously Taira has had high level experience and is still very young, so that for the probability of him losing is exceptionally low, especially with the level of skill he had. Right, I was worried, but I was like, okay, I think the experience that he's had at the top is going to play a massive role in that particular fight. So I think probably that might be the situation in this particular fight as well. I'm still not sold on Steve Erceg. I don't necessarily um, get why everyone is so high on the guy. I still feel like there's a lot of holes in his game. When people were busy saying Kai Kara France is going to lose to this guy, I was like, you know what? Kai Kara France might actually knock this guy out. Shoshot McGee, Habib has five pullouts and two because of COVID and missed weight one time. Umara has pulled out five times with only seven UFC fights. Come on, Shoshot McGee. Oh my god. Dude, like, how many people have been pulling out the UFC? I mean, what's wrong with you? Okay, cool. You win. It's fine. It's fine. Like I said, we're going to have a different and a separate conversation about this particular topic, right? Because I feel like there's so many high level numbers, man. But there are so many beloved fighters who always pull out, and no one actually says anything about that. You know, there are so many beloved fighters who've been pulling out, and everyone is just cool with that. But it's fine. I'm not going to go too much into that. Habib, UFC not fair. That's an argument for another day. Let's finish with Ode Osbourne and Steve Erceg. So, even though my subscribers and I are going with Steve Erceg, I'm still not particularly confident. Obviously, I still do believe that Steve Erceg is going to be able to stuff any grappling exchanges that Ode Osbourne might try to attempt. Um, Shoshot McGee, I say cut Costa every time he pulls out. Okay, okay, okay. I mean, there are more, and it's Costa a fan favorite. I feel like a lot of people are on the fence with Costa, but it's cool. So let me see who here has been fighting. Who has fought Ode Osbourne? Um, okay, but in any case, I'm honestly happy with the fact that um, Steve Erceg is getting like a decent matchup that he is actually going to be able to win. And you know what? I retract my statement. I think Ode Osbourne, if he is improving, because he looked a little bit improved in his last fight. I mean, not that improved, but still, he looked a little bit more improved than when he fought Ronaldo Rodriguez. So if Ode Osbourne actually improves, he might maybe wrestle his way to a decision. I don't know. On the feet, I think Steve Erceg maybe potentially might be better, but that's a massive maybe because I'm one of the people who feel like Erceg has been overrated because of his wins over, was it Match Now or what? Like who did he knock out? And all of a sudden he gets a title shot. He has somewhat of a competitive fight with Alexander Pantoja, and all of a sudden this is the next champion according to MMA Guru. Like, yeah, this guy's the next champion. Like, what happened? So Steve Erceg um goes to a decision with David Dvorak. Okay, goes to a decision with Alessandro Costa, knocks out the match now, and all of a sudden he is this incredible fighter who is going to be a future champion. He then goes on to lose to Alexandre Pantoja, Kai Kara France, and Brandon Moreno. Okay, those are not bad names to lose to, but the only finish he has in the UFC is match now, dude. Like match, like the only dude he knocked out is match now. So I don't know where this idea that Steve Erceg is this knockout artist is coming from. Like for me, to be honest, after going through this, I feel like Ode Osbourne has a shot at upsetting Steve Erceg here. You know, like okay, Alessandro Costa is not a bad win. I mean, it's a pretty decent win. I mean, Dvorak as well. I mean, though even though I'm on the fence about that, but I think what do you call him? Steve Erceg's best win is probably Alessandro Costa, in my opinion. That's the only guy who I feel like actually fought back. Right? He even went to a decision with Dvorak, but I feel like Costa actually fought back. As far as out of all his wins, I think Costa actually fought back, even though he won. Match now doesn't count. Like who hasn't been not like Match now gets knocked out by everyone. Like so that one doesn't count. So I genuinely don't under. I think maybe someone needs to explain this to me. I wonder why like the MMA community was so high on Steve Erceg, and I was so confused. I felt crazy even leading up to the Kai Kara France fight. There were people coming onto the live chat and calling me insane for the breakdown. I was like, but like, I don't see it. I don't see it, right? And I actually even predicted that Kai Kara France would actually finish him, and he did. So I don't know, man. I still feel like the jury's still out on Steve Erceg. I'm not sold yet. To me, the only advantage I'm giving Steve Erceg is that he went to a decision with Alexander Pantoja and a 5 round decision. I think that's probably the only thing I would give to him. He has experience, right? But in all honesty, I could see Ode Osbourne actually finding a way to win this fight. There's no way I'm feeling confident about Steve Erceg. I have more confidence in Anthony Hernandez beating Roman Dolidze than Steve Erceg actually beating Ode Osbourne. Look, to be honest, I don't have that much confidence in Steve Erceg, to be honest. Um, Let me see. His takedown defense is 64%. There's no way I have that much confidence in Steve Erceg. To be fair, he's been fighting elite level fighters. Brandon Moreno is a hard fight for anyone. And going to a unanimous decision with Brandon Moreno is actually pretty decent. Even Alexandre Pantoja, that's actually pretty commendable. Even though they were beating, I mean, with Pantoja it was a little bit more competitive than with Moreno. But still, um, at the very least, he got to a decision. He wasn't finished. Even though I do feel like he lost it decisively to Brandon Moreno. But yeah, man. I mean, Colby Covington had a competitive fight with Usman, and Colby Covington has never even been in the pound for pound rankings. Um, let's even leave the pound for pound rankings out of this discussion. I don't feel like Colby Covington has ever been good. He's done what Paddy Pimblett is doing now. Probably that's why Colby Covington hates Paddy Pimblett. Is because what Paddy Pimblett is doing is the original Colby Covington strategy. Fight older legends, or rather, yeah, older established fighters, who are still having pretty decent performances, and then make it seem like you are running through everyone, and then get a title shot, maybe have a competitive fight, and then stay in the top, getting cherry picked the fights, and then remain in the top up until your prime runs out, and then eventually, um, people will realize that maybe you're not that good. Like that's the Kobe Covington recipe, which is what Paddy Pimblett is basically doing right now. Fight older fighters who have a name, and build yourself up and get to the title by not fighting anyone legit. Okay, they are to some extent legit, but like how many people has Paddy Pimblett fought who were on a who had a win, right? I'm not trying to. This went on to be like a trash fest for Paddy Pimblett. My bad, but still, um, not too confident this Steve Erceg. This is a competitive fight. I could see Ode Osbourne actually getting this one done, but my subscribers and I are going with Steve Erceg. With Steve Erceg, I think his experience, his 5 round experience against Brandon Moreno and Alessandro Pantoja, I think is going to be very valuable in a 3 round fight against Ode Osbourne. That's the only advantage I give to him, and even then, I feel like Osbourne has a shot at winning. Um, I don't think it's a layup as people might think it is. I think it's going to be problematic unless if Steve Erceg has improved. But yeah, my subscribers and I are picking Steve Erceg. Not very confident in this pick. Let me respond to Shawshot McGee and then go to the next one. Steve better but has no chin and is fighting a big hitter. I agree. Shawshot McGee. Steve looks so slick but yet gets hit. Hands up, right guard, yet everything gets through. Oh man, that's actually quite terrible for you to even say. Sounds bad, man. Joshua McGee, no chin versus no IQ. Perfectly summarized, man. Let me go to the last fight. I love and appreciate all of you. Until next time, deuces.